Dustin over here. Obviously, it's been a bit since we last saw you. I guess we were kind of used to seeing you, 2-3 times a year for a while. Bit of a long layoff in terms of what we were used to seeing from you. So, I guess how's life been since your last fight to now?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a layoff. I just had so many cumulative nose breaks over my fighting career that it was really affecting my breathing, my immune system, my sleep, and was really starting to notice it in some of my fights. And then after last fight, I finally got it fixed. It takes a little while for it to heal up, and then I just took the time, a little bit of buffer, and yeah, started a new gym, got a house, got a dog, so life has been good.
Well, congratulations on that. The surgery, was that something you felt like you'd been putting off for a little too long, and then now was just too much to ignore at this point?
Sometime during last year, I started noticing that I was having trouble breathing, especially when I had my head down. And in the last maybe 3 years or so, I've been having a lot of immune system problems. I'm getting sick a lot. Also, like right before fights, really affecting my performance. And then once I started realizing that my nose was really blocked up, the hope was clearing that up would open up my sinuses, let everything drain out properly, and fix my immune system problems, which it seems to have done. So, sort of forget the original question, but
did you put off that surgery again? Now it's.
I put it off a little bit, but it was definitely way overdue. Sure. Yeah.
Have you noticed a difference in camp now that you're back in training? Did you notice like a physical difference being able to, I guess, breathe properly out of your nose?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing is once I reach my exhaustion point, I recover a lot faster. Before, I would hit a certain level and I would just sort of hit a wall, and then it would take about an hour to recover. Now it takes a couple minutes, so that's been really good. And sleep has been a lot better.
And then in terms of the fight on Saturday, Mansur, obviously physically and athletically gifted, still is kind of a very bright prospect in the UFC. What did you make of his fights, his skill set, and did you like the matchup when they presented it to you?
We liked the matchup as far as the fight and style goes. We didn't really like the matchup due to I usually do my camps at XC. And so that was a bit of a bummer, but especially with just getting my new gym set up and the house, it was a lot easier to do camp back home in Germany this time. So it ended up working out pretty good, but yeah, we trained a little bit together. I think Mansur's a great guy. We don't know each other super well, but that was a bit of a shame, getting my plans for camp derailed. But other than that, as far as the fight business goes, it's a good fight.
So after this fight, you'll be back to XC though, right? Like back to normal?
I think so. I think they'll have me. I have a good relationship with Eric and the team there, so yeah.
Last one for me. We've always heard, especially from the veteran fighters, that when you're undefeated, especially in the UFC, maybe you've never experienced your first loss, that you can maybe kind of feel invincible, and then when you do experience your first setback, you come back kind of a different fighter. I know you said you don't know Mansur that well, but I guess coming off of his first pro loss, are you expecting any different style of fight in there? Just considering, he is kind of trying to bounce back from a loss for the first time.
Yeah, I know that it definitely affected me a lot. I went on a 10-fight win streak before I came into the UFC, I think. And that first loss really affected my confidence, so it might, but it's not something I'm banking on.
Dustin, do you still have any ties to the area?
I do. Most of my family still lives here.
In Lancaster or elsewhere?
Yeah, in Lancaster, repping Susquehanna. I love this area. Less Philadelphia. I'm more of a country bumpkin from Lancaster, but I love being back here. Love seeing my family. Love being back in the area.
Do you expect to have a lot of people here then on Saturday from the area, or not really?
I have some family coming in, but I'm not a super popular guy, I don't think. But
you go back? Are you going to go back to Lancaster? Have you been back to Lancaster? Are you going back this week or?
Yeah. I actually flew in about a half a week early. Visited the family a little bit, use the time to recover and unwind a bit, and then after the fight, I'll be in the Lancaster area for about 10 days.
Dustin over here. You ever go to like Xfinity Mobile growing up? I guess it would have been like Wachovia Center back then.
Not so much. I didn't spend a lot of time in Philadelphia as a kid. As I said, I'm a bit more of a country bumpkin. Big cities always sort of put me off. But no, I wasn't really into watching sporting events or anything like that as a kid, which makes it all more surprising that I'm a professional athlete now. But yeah, it's just the way things go sometimes.
And I'm not sure, did you watch Mansur's last fight, his first loss?
Yeah, when we were watching tape, yeah.
Anything specific that you noticed in that fight that you can really capitalize on and take away from that?
Not so much, not anything unique that you wouldn't see in his wins too. He's a super athletic guy, but super athletic guys can burn themselves out. He has great offense, but leaves holes in his defense. So, but you see those in his other fights too. He's got a lot of strengths, but those strengths leave openings as well. We good? All right, thank you guys.
Gillian, right? I feel like you've taken the long route to get here to the title shot. So I guess now that we're only a couple days removed from, or ahead of your first title defense or title fight here in the UFC, I guess how's camp been? How's life been? What are the emotions?
I actually have the longest route out of any female to a title fight. So this will be my 21st fight with the UFC. And this camp it went absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, one of my best. I feel like I'm more confident than ever, and I'm just ready for this opportunity.
Do you think that, I mean, like when Merab was doing this and when Charles Oliveira was on these runs too, where it took them so many wins to get the title shot, they got that fan support behind them because, like, when is it their turn? Have you felt that from the fans too? Because after Mackenzie's last win, everyone was saying Tatiana, everyone was saying Weili, and then there was like this kind of slow surge in your name after your performances. Have you felt kind of the fans getting behind you?
I guess a little bit yes and no. I felt a lot of the Canadian fans getting behind me. I will say 100%. Canada has been in full support.
And breaking down Mackenzie, obviously everyone is going to say grappling versus grappling, but on the countdown, you said, you know, she's going to have kind of the traditional jiu-jitsu approach, and I'm the MMA grappler. So I guess when you break down Mackenzie's skill set, I guess, are you impressed? Is it, I guess, what do you make of her skill set?
I mean, I don't want to diminish anything. I feel like she is she has really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's just this is MMA. So I think that's where I'm going to be able to shine. I think that she's going to bring a lot of fight, but it's going to wear out in the later rounds, and that's where I'm going to shine.
Historically, when we see two high-level grapplers, I'm sure you've seen it, it kind of turns into a striking matchup because they cancel each other out. So I guess everyone knows her skills on the ground, but what do you make of her striking? Because this is an MMA fight after all, and the fight does start standing.
I feel like her striking is aggressive. She's very defensively open for my strikes as well, though, but she's definitely going to come at me and throw everything she's got.
And I saw an interview where you said you don't think she likes you. And I asked Mackenzie Dern that yesterday, and she's like, I've never even met her. I don't know where this is coming from. So do you actually think that she doesn't like you, or is this something you have to build in your head to kind of maybe...
She was making comments like all through the camp about how she doesn't know me, she doesn't think my jiu-jitsu's good and all this stuff. And now she's like, oh no, I don't, it's not anything. It's not that I don't like her. I'm like, why are we trying to take this back now? Like, you're talking all this shit through camp, keep that same energy.
So would you ever respected it more if she just came up to you and was like, I don't actually like you, like to your face?
Oh yeah, no, because I don't like her right now, you know? I'm like, we're about to fight each other this week.
And, good luck.
Thank you.
Gillian over here. You know, what's the experience in Philly been like? Have you done any bucket list items in the middle of all this championship fight camp?
I haven't had time to do anything at all. I actually flew out to Toronto for a little bit of a media tour on Monday, and my flight got canceled. So I didn't make it to Philly until yesterday, which was a little bit unexpected. So, yeah, haven't had time to do anything, really.
You have any bucket list things you want to do with the belt on Sunday, maybe?
I guess I haven't put too much thought into that yet.
And one more from me. Din Thomas is somebody who supported you and mentored you for a long time. How much would it mean to bring the belt back to him, and what's the biggest thing he's taught you along the way?
It's been since I was 15 years old. Dean and I have been working together, so I think it really is our belt more than anything else. He's molded me into the fighter that I am today, so it would mean the world for me to be able to win that for us.
Awesome. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Good, Gillian. You did have a face-off with Mackenzie last night, though. Can you just tell us kind of what your takeaways from that were, and obviously getting to do it, you know, on the famous Rocky steps?
I guess on the similar note of, I expected her to be a little bit more aggressive. She shook my hand twice, and it kind of threw me off, where I was like, thought we were talking shit.
You told me on Monday when we were in Toronto that you feel that belt's already yours to be able to see it, you know, up close during that face-off. Does that just give you a little more of a boost?
I guess a little bit, but I feel like it's just another fight to me. It's still just that. It's just going in there and being able to have the opportunity to perform, and I just hope that I'm able to do that.
What are your expectations for the press conference tomorrow? I know you said you hope she talks a little trash. Are you thinking it might go a different way now, or how do you think it's going to go?
I guess I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but like I said, I'm keeping the same energy. I still don't like her.
Gillian over here. UFC put out a stat this week. You're tied with Amanda Nunes for most finishes amongst women MMA. What would it mean to get that finish this weekend and take that record?
Amanda has been my absolute idol through this sport. I feel like there is no woman that is better than her. So to be able to beat one of her records is really like, that's a big step for me. That's really what means a lot.
And then what kind of champion do you envision yourself being? Like very active with title defenses, interest in like 2 belts? What are your thoughts there?
I'm definitely want to be very active. I feel like I've always been very active through my career. And I don't think champs should move up until they clear out their division. So if I'm able to clear out my division, then I might move up. But at this time, it's staying in 115.
And then last one for me, I don't want to get like too far ahead of the fight or anything, but other than you right now, is there a clear #1 contender in the division?
I guess that there's always a question mark over Wei Li right now to see where she's at. I think that with another win under her belt, Fatima's coming up, or Thayanara too. I'm like, they're girls who I'm definitely watching and looking at for the years coming up.
All right, you were talking about the long road you took to get here, right? And filled with losses, setbacks, and everything. With a loss, a setback, but especially watching all the other girls get a shot before you did, even though a lot of fans and yourself, I'm sure, felt you deserved a shot at that point. Any of that ever kind of maybe put doubt in your mind if you ever actually get to this point?
No, it's just been about the joy of the ride. I've just been having fun with it the whole time. I feel like one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned was literally as I was taking like the steps out of the octagon when I got TKO'd by Macy Barber. My coach, Dean, came up to me and he's like, it's over. And it's like, you just have to realize that in those moments, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. We move on to the next moment and we just keep pushing forward.
There you go. And you've known, I mean, we all know you're one of the best grapplers in the UFC, this without a doubt. But let's say you get in there, let's say you do go to the ground. Let's say you submit someone like Mackenzie Dern with the credentials that she has. Where does that rank for you? What would that rank for you personally, like as a grappler?
No, I think that would definitely be one of my top submissions in the UFC, especially. There is no one as credentialed in the UFC in BJJ as she is. So, and she's never been subbed before. So I think to get that like feather in my cap would be great.
And last one for me. You went on Saturday. Where would you, if you could, tell Dana, hey, I want to go here. Where would you want your first defense to be?
I'm obviously Canada is where I would love to have it, but if Wei Li's coming back, I'm down to go to Shanghai.
All right, hey, best of luck.
Thank you.
Gillian, over here. You're riding your longest win streak coming into your first title shot. What changed in your career to allow you to put all these wins together?
I think I just kind of found the right, I guess, mixture that I needed to make me feel confident and prepared walking in. Between my coach, Dean Thomas, and the Goat Shed, I feel like we found something good there.
Awesome. And obviously you guys have very high-level MMA grappling. Let's take away the punches, take away the kicks. If this was purely a jiu-jitsu only match, how do you think you would do against Mackenzie Dern?
No, I would give it to her, honestly. I think that if it is pure jiu-jitsu, I haven't trained pure jiu-jitsu since I got into the UFC. I've only been training jiu-jitsu with strikes. So even opening a closed guard, I don't really know how to without punching somebody in the face at this point. So if it was pure jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't be surprised if she had a little bit of an edge.
Awesome. Thank you.
I just want to know, representing Canada, what it's going to be like to potentially win the belt and be the first champ since GSP and represent both the new generation of men and women in Canada.
I feel like every time I hear it, it just feels unreal. To be Canada's first woman champ is just, I just don't feel like I'm that cool, I'm just doing this having fun. So to be able to say that I'm leading the MMA in Canada, I guess I don't think of it as that big, but it's definitely unreal to me.
What does it mean to you to have your title fight be on the co-main event of this card?
I think being on the co-main event of a card with Islam headlining it, who is the greatest right now, I think that it's just a great spot, a great opportunity, and hopefully a lot of eyes are going to be on the show.
And when you heard this fight was going to be held here in Philadelphia, what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction was I heard the arena was going to be huge and the fans are crazy, and that's all I'm looking forward to. I love that energy.
morning. How are we? Right. Good morning, folks. How are we? Before we start, I just want to make one thing abundantly clear. I've got the biggest fight of my life this weekend. I am absolutely, completely fucking focused on the fight. So let's stick to the professional stuff. Yeah? Stick to the fighting. Let's talk about the fighting. Let's talk about Islam. Let's talk about the fight. Nothing else.
Well, Ian, to go off of that, I guess, you know, the first time we saw you at MSG, you were kind of like you had this plan to get the title. You were speaking at as if it was inevitable. So now we're only a few days away from you getting to achieve that dream. Has it hit you? Has it dawned on you? Or do you finally have to like treat this as a normal fight week, preparing not only for the title fight, but the #1 fighter in the world?
That's a great question. I knew from the moment I started this sport, I knew the talent that I had. And I knew that with all the talent, the discipline, the sacrifice, and the hard work that I knew I would put in, I knew I would get here. And I have gotten here. And nobody in the world has deserved a world title shot more than me. It still hasn't hit me yet. I still think it's going to be Friday when it hits me, and I'm like, all right, this is it. He's here. There's no more to do. There's no more weight cutting. There's no nothing, no media. It's just show up, face off at the ceremonials, and then I know tomorrow I fight him. I think then it will kind of come to reality that it's real. But I've always said I want to fight the toughest fighters in the world, the best fighters in the world, because that's how you become great. You leave no question marks, no excuses. I have fought some of the greatest fighters walking this planet right now at welterweight. And it's going to be a great honor to go out there and compete against Islam, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, a 2-weight world champion. His legacy is set in stone. Do you know what I mean? He's done so much in this sport. But beating him, it's exactly the challenge I would want to become the champion of the world.
Well, to go off of that, when I feel like no one would have complained if you got a title shot maybe even a couple fights ago, especially when you weighed in as the backup in Montreal. Obviously that was Jack Bilal, but now it's Islam. Like it's just kind of a different aura when during a fight week for him. Is this best case scenario, like getting, like I said, not just fighting for the title, but the guy?
Winning a world title in the UFC is amazing. Doesn't matter who you beat to become the world champion. You're forevermore a UFC world champion. But just like when Conor McGregor beat Jose Aldo, who hadn't been beaten 10 years, there was a different, okay, this is legit. I get the same opportunity to fight the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, a man who is on a record-setting win streak that we haven't seen since the great Anderson Silva. So for me to go out there against him, who many consider to be a generational talent, they're starting to talk about him in the GOAT conversation. For me to go out there and have that as the challenge that I have to go out and beat to prove not only I'm the champion of the world, but I really, truly am the best on the planet, it's exactly what I want.
Is he a guy that you think you'll have to beat twice, considering everything he's done? In the past we've seen guys with these long win streaks, they lose and then they get the immediate rematch just based on their resume. Is Islam a guy you have to beat twice to finally put an end to it?
I think let's focus on beating him once, and then we can focus on beating him twice. Does that make sense? But it all depends on the fashion. If I go out there and I scalp him in 2 minutes, do you want to see me fight him again straight away? Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it is. If we have a back and forth war like he had with Volkanovski, then it probably would warrant a rematch. But also, there's many other challenges here that are exciting at the same time. So let's get through Saturday night. Let's get the win, and then we'll see in what fashion I get the victory and if there's a rematch on the cards. But I wouldn't be against it. I think he's earned enough to do it. But let's get through Saturday night first.
Did you bit of your camp in Georgia, or a big chunk of your camp there?
It was the first place I went to when I found out that we were next. It was way early on. We went to Georgia because I wanted to feel. The Georgians were so lovely. Ahead of my fight with Bilal, I told them I was going to need their help. When I do, let me know. I got so many messages, so many opportunities to go out there and train. And it was great to feel their pressure, their style, their pace, their skill, and then kind of mold my vision of how I need to win the fight from what I learned there, if that makes sense.
So how do you see the fight playing out in your mind?
People are talking about it being an interesting fight, but the truth is it's such a black and white fight. He has to get me down. I have to keep it on the feet. However, it's the most elite of both of those worlds. He is unbelievably good when he grabs a hold of people, and I am unbelievably good at moving around on the feet and being the best striker in the world. So it's how do we get our games going to win the fight? Who's going to control the fight? Who's going to get the fight where they want it to be, keep it where they want it to be? Can he grab a hold of me, keep a hold of me, get me to the ground, hold me down? Can I stop him taking me down? Can I keep the movement? Can I keep hitting him, keep hurting him? And that's the fight. But it's I believe it's the most elite version of a striker versus a grappler that we've ever seen in the sport. I think it's the next generation of what MMA has turned into, because Islam is no slouch on the feet. Look at what he did to Jack Della Maddalena. Like, the guy can strike, but we don't talk about it because he's so good at the grappling. And for me, it's very simple. He is a phenomenal fighter in every facet of the game, as am I. And I think this is one of the most well-rounded fights we've ever seen in the UFC, full stop.
The last one for me, to kind of go off of that. I mean, you train with Damian and Charles, who are two of just the most elite grapplers we've ever seen. Can I just ask what it is like rolling with...
Craft, and he's... like, the guy has a choke called the Maya Leon. He knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. And Charles is the most dangerous grappler in mixed martial arts, because he can catch you with anything from anywhere. And it's just so dangerous. So you have to be on it at every single second when you're grappling with him, which is very different styles. Like, Charles can beat you everywhere, anywhere, at any given second, because he's so flashy and so fast. Whereas with Damian, it's like, he's going to get my back at some point. And when he does, like, I can't stop him. Does that make sense?
Ian, you had a face-off with Islam last night on the Rocky steps and everything. Any takeaways from that? Does he look like, a true welterweight now to you? And was that your first time ever seeing him in person?
No. Second time I've ever seen him in person. The first time I seen him in person was backstage at Vegas. And him and his team were like shouting at, I think it was Nick or Nate Diaz. There was a little bit of beef backstage. And I remember just turning to him and going, "Hey, brother, don't waste your time." And that was it. And he was like, "Hey," that was it. That's the only ever interaction I've ever had with him. I don't even know if he remembers it, but it was just like, you don't need to waste your time, my friend. No, look, he's not going to be undersized when it comes to weight. There's not going to be any difference from a strength point of view. He's going to be strong. He's going to weigh the same as me. However, I physically couldn't make 155. So when we talk about natural welterweights, I'm bigger. I couldn't make the weight he used to make. So size-wise, people are talking about it online. It doesn't correlate for me the same way. I think it's more stylistically this fight is interesting than size. If anything, me being tall is better for him, because there's more room for him to get under, to get to my leg. There's more leg to get. Do you know what I mean? So I just kind of felt like yesterday he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be at the face-off. I sensed a little bit of like nervous energy from him, but those face-offs, they're fake. They're for social media. They're for Instagram. They're for obligations. They're not for us. The face-off that matters to me is Friday, when we've made weight, we've done all the hard work, we show up in front of the fans, and it's the last time we get to look at each other before we meet in the octagon. That's the one that matters to me.
What about tomorrow? What are your expectations from the press conference? Are you like expecting to go back and forth with him, to be very respectful?
I think Islam's a funny dude. I like his comments. I think he's got a great dry humor with the kind of the language barrier that he has. I think it's hilarious. It comes across great. Yeah, look, I have no problems with Islam. There's all respect from a competitive point of view. There always is. If he says anything that steps out of line in my book, then he's opening up a door for me to go in, and I don't want to do that. Does that make sense? There's too much negativity in this sport. There's too much of a bad energy at times. We always want we always want to talk about someone in a negative light. Oh, this person said this. What do you think? Oh, he's this, he's that. It's gone should be the days of negativity, and let's just speak about people in positive light. So I don't want that to go that way. I don't want any negativity. Let's focus on the fight. There's history to be made on both sides of the octagon. You know, he's the greatest lightweight champion we've ever seen. He's a 2-weight world champion, and if he can win this fight on Saturday night, he breaks the longest consecutive win streak in UFC history. On my side, I'm trying to achieve the dream that I had as a 16-year-old kid from Dublin, Ireland, of becoming the UFC champion. Not only that, I'm also, with a win, the most victorious Irishman in UFC history, and I break Conor McGregor's wins at the moment. So there's history on both sides of the octagon. I want to create mine and stop his, and we don't need to do anything else other than just fight on Saturday night. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. If you win this fight, do we have to change the nickname? Because I guess the future would be now, right? Or do you?
The future's inevitable, buddy. The future's in 5 minutes' time. If we want to walk outside and have a fight in 5 minutes, it's inevitable. I'm going to be there. Let's go. It's never going to change. If anything, it'll just pass on to the little terror that's running around this hotel this week, to little Leander. He's 100% a fighter, and I'm excited to see that future play out.
Ian, right here. You talked about how this is pretty black and white, you know, striker versus grappler, maybe the most extreme example of that in UFC history. But if he does bring it to the areas that he's good at, to the ground, how comfortable are you dealing with that? And also, do you feel like you still, after all these years, don't get enough credit for your grappling?
Grab my leg and find out.
Thanks.
It's that simple. I've trained with Damian Maia. I've been training with Charles Oliveira. I've got John Hathaway in the back there. Absolute legends. I have prepared the best I possibly can for this fight. There is no stone unturned. I am ready for everything. Grab my leg and let's find out.
Ian, back here. You've obviously trained grappling with Damian Maia. You've struck with Conor McGregor. You've been very open-minded to like acquiring skills and like going around the world. I want to ask you, what do you believe is the best base for MMA?
That's a very good question. There's so many ways to look at this. I really do believe that if you have confidence and the mental fortitude, that's the biggest thing that you can have in MMA. Because if you're a striker and someone takes you down and you can keep pushing yourself and speak positively to yourself, like, I can get out of this, I can keep going, that's a more impressive skill than being able to get up itself. Like, you're constantly focused. But with that mindset, you can do anything. You can learn. I can teach anyone how to strike. I can teach anyone how to wrestle. I can teach anyone how to do jiu-jitsu. But if you're not focused up here and you don't want it up here, then it's not going to come to fruition. So firstly, I think it's not just about skill set, but about mental. I think mental is more important than physical skill. And I think the truth is, if you can grab a hold of someone and ragdoll someone, you force someone into a very different mindset. So I would say that when you look at all the success the Dagestanis are having in the sport, it shows how well that skill set translates into the sport. And now you're starting to see, like, Islam getting cleaner and better on the feet. You're starting to see Umar and Usman Nurmagomedov use that grappling, mix it with fast, explosive striking that forces people to think differently. So I think as a base, if you can grab a hold of someone and ragdoll someone and mentally break them, it's a phenomenal start.
I appreciate the insight. And let me ask you, since you also mentioned confidence, where did you specifically get your confidence from? I know it's from the hard work, but was there anyone in your life that instilled that extra confidence that in front of the whole world you can handle pressure and overcome conflict to win your world title?
No, not in that regard. No, I grew up a very happy kid, and I watched my dad be a social butterfly. I watched how he spoke to people. I watched how he acted. I watched him walk around with such a confidence. And I think as a kid, you're a sponge. You learn from those who who you surrounded by. That's why it's so important to me as a father to be the best example I can be to my little boy, because what I do now, what I say now, how I treat people now is exactly how he will treat people in the future. So when I look at myself as a mirror, I have to go, okay, everything I do, he shall copy. So when I think about it like that, I think just straight up confidence, I think, came from watching my dad walk around and how he interacted with people. But my family aren't athletes. I believe I'm different up here, and that's what separates me. When I want something, I make it happen. And when I love something, I'll make sure that I have the most fun in the world. And I chose this job. I chose this life. And on Saturday night, I get to achieve a dream that I've been thinking about for a decade. So I'm very excited, I'm very happy, and I'm very proud of who I am and where I've come from.
Hey, Ian over here. Well, kind of a fun one. When you fought D-Rod, you sent pizza to his room during his weight cut. So have you found any, halal safe spots to order from for Islam?
No, I don't want him missing weight. I don't want any excuses. Not this time. D-Rob is a bit of fun. Islam, strictly professional. Show up on weight, no excuses, because I want to win this the right way.
There you go. And obviously, the nickname, the future, and all that. You talked about the future, your son and all that. But now that the future is here, your title shot just a couple days away, does the moment feel the way you imagine it would?
I think it will kick in when it gets wrapped around my waist. When that belt gets wrapped around my waist, I think then I'll go, wow, this is really it. But I'm too focused right now to think about the moment. I've been in big stage after big stage, massive fight after massive fight, short notice fights. I've done it all in this sport at the moment, and I'm used to this expectation, this pressure, these big lights. If anything, I thrive off it. So the bigger the energy in the stadium, the bigger the stage, the brighter I shine.
Last one for me. You wake up Sunday morning the champion, right? After all the criticism, all the stuff people say about you and everything, all the doubters and everything, would be what would be? How would you feel like the moment when you say, "Hey, I was right"? What would that feel like to you?
I've been right all along. I've been right all along. You know what? When you paint that picture of you wake up Sunday morning, you're the champion of the world. When I paint that picture, I wake up, I'm going to start cutting strawberries for my little boy. I'm going to get some watermelon out the fridge. I'm going to make him his cereal. When I wake up, I'm a dad. That's it. There is nothing more important to me in my life than being the best father and husband I possibly can be. That is my single biggest focus in life. Fighting is my joy. Fighting is my passion. Fighting is something that is so much more important to me on a selfish level, but nowhere near as important to me on the grand scheme of things of life. My family are here for the rest of my life. My little boy is going to be my golf buddy for the next 40, 50 years. Do you know what I mean? I'm a dad and a husband every second of every day. It's only when I go to the gym and I train that I'm the fighter. I'm the future. Other than that, it's Daddy, can you make me this? Daddy, can you get me this? I'm hungry. I need to go to the toilet. Like, it doesn't stop. So that's where this week, the last 2 weeks especially, it's just been a nice reminder to see what's actually important in life. And I'm so excited this weekend that I get to go in here and face the greatest fighter walking the earth right now in Islam Makhachev, and I get to use him to prove to the world that I am the best.
Hey Ian, how's it going? How's it going? So obviously, like when we were growing up, like when Conor won those belts, one of the things that was kind of infamous was he never got this big homecoming with either of them, really. Have you and Eddie Hearn been talking about maybe a plan for something big in Dublin after this weekend?
Dude, I've been talking about trying to get the UFC back to Ireland since I got here, and it's not happened. I understand why, I understand reasons, logistics, whatever it is, but I've been very consistent with this. When I get this belt, I have a lot more power to try and dictate where we fight. I have a lot more power to try and get us back. And obviously, to your point, like, there's always been a lot of speculation about the potential of Conor McGregor having a Croke Park event. But next month, one of the greatest fighters in Irish history, Katie Taylor, competes in Croke Park, and if that event goes smooth and successfully, then why couldn't the UFC do an event where maybe me and Conor are main and co-main in Croke Park? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. We don't need anyone else as long as I'm the champion of the world and we bring a Carlos Prates or a Shavkat Rakhmonov, or to your point, maybe an Islam Makhachev rematch. Why not? Anything's possible. But I'd love it.
Well, I was thinking more like just in terms of like, obviously you had that great event in Vicar Street a few weeks ago where you got to meet the fans and everything. Like, do you think after Sunday will you like come home and have some big like moment, you know, at the airport or
100%. I would absolutely love, straight after this fight, my flights are booked to go back to Dublin, Ireland. I want to go and take my wife on a date at our favourite restaurant in Dublin. I want to bring that belt back to Irish style and cement myself onto that kind of earth and know that I did what I said I was going to do. I brought it back, I brought it home, and I can be very proud of the dreams that I've achieved.
Obviously, you mentioned the big Katie Taylor fight coming up. I'd imagine you're probably going to be there at ringside for that event. But I read a story from a couple of years back that you and Katie Taylor actually sparred together. Could you tell me the story of that sparring session?
I was present when she was sparring a friend of mine. And I wouldn't say we sparred, but we all got in the ring and played around. But she used to spar a friend of mine called Craig Bunny, and they used to spar all the time. And I was present one day, and it was just great to watch. It was great insight as a young boxer. I must have been 10, 11 years of age. I don't know. He was a bit older than me, but he was one of the best boxers in the country, one of the best prospects in the country at the time, and it was just a great insight.
Last one, do you think Conor should come back, or do you think maybe at this point, like after the injuries and everything?
Whatever he does, I just hope he makes the right decision for him and his family.
Yeah. Over here. Besides Islam's grappling, do you think his striking could impress you? And the same way, do you think your skills in grappling could impress him and the fans?
I think my skills and my grappling has already impressed them, hence why it took them so long to accept this fight. They seen the Bilal fight and they went, it's not going to be that easy. And yes, I said it a couple of minutes ago, his striking isn't talked about enough because of how good his grappling is. But when you watch him go out there, he beat Jack Della Maddalena every second on the feet. And it was only when he wanted to grab a hold of him did he take it to his world. But he's incredibly talented in all areas of the game. Make no mistake about it. If you switch off on the feet, look what happened to Volkanovski. He can take you out there too. That's why I say this fight is arguably the best complete mixed martial artist fight we've seen in a long, long time. But it's the highest levels of two facets to the game.
And looking down and the other division, you have Carlos Prates, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Michael Morales. Who you think who has to be or deserves to be like the next contender for the title?
Listen, I called him last week and we chatted about it, but there is only one. There is only one person who has earned or deserved the title shot after this fight, and it's Carlos Prates. All the other guys haven't done enough. Shavkat Rakhmonov, whenever he comes back, again, I wish him recovery. Someone told me yesterday that there's been some hardship in his life. I wish him well. I wish him good health. I hope that everything goes well for him because there's more things important than fighting, and family and long-term health is far more important than fighting. So, Shavkat, I wish you all the best. But when he comes back into the octagon, there's only one person he's fighting, and it's me. So he'll jump the queue whenever he comes back because that's the fight I want. But Carlos Prates has earned it. Nobody else in the entire division has earned it. They all need to fight at least one more fight. Prates is coming off 2 fights against 2 guys that have never been finished, and he did it in insane fashion. And I whooped his ass for 24 minutes. And I did it on 3 weeks' notice. So if he wants to give me 3-4 months, he knows what's going to happen. He'll be able to sleep well after the next one.
And last for me, you have Conor McGregor as the biggest Irish star MMA. If you win this belt, what will you have to accomplish before you feel comfortable saying, I am the new face of the Irish MMA?
Being the face of Irish MMA is going to be a tough ask when you have such an iconic fighter from the same country like Conor McGregor. It is never something I've ever thought about of being the face of Irish MMA. However, I want to make it abundantly clear. since I entered the UFC, I've been the only one flying the flag. I've been the only one getting the wins in the UFC since then. Many have tried, many have failed, but I've been the guy consistently showing up and getting wins and at the highest level of the sport. I am the new face of Irish MMA, but I don't think I'll ever be the face of Irish MMA unless I achieve all of the goals that I wish to achieve. And I'm talking about a decade of domination. I'm 28 years of age. I can fight. Look, Volkanovski is still the champion of the world. He's 38. Justin Gaethje just won a world title for his third time, for his third attempt. He's 38 years of age. I have 10 years of domination at this sport at the highest level against the next best opponent every single time. Something that excites me as being the champion of the world is fighting the right fight, the person who deserves the title shot the most, which is something that I feel like the UFC hasn't always done. But that's my job as the champion, is to make sure that the rightful contender gets the shot every single time.
So, what was your reaction when you heard that your fight was going to be headlining the first event in Philadelphia in over 7 years?
I initially went, Philly, Dad, come on, can we do Vegas? Because for me, Vegas is like the fight capital of the world. And that was my initial instinctual reaction. I actually wanted to fight Islam in Abu Dhabi. I wanted to do it in enemy territory because then there's just even more hostile energy and I feel like I thrive off that. And then I thought about Philly. I thought into it a bit more and I went, wow, Philly's got a lot of fight history. Philly's got a lot of old boxing history here that is deeply enriched in the Philadelphia culture. And then I started to get excited. I was like, all right, wait, we got some legends of the sport that have been born and bred in Philadelphia. There's some amazing, amazing boxers. And then I was like, oh, you've got the Rocky films. You've got all that. I was like, all right, okay, cool. Now it's and that initially changed my mind then. But yeah, it's being here, seeing Philadelphia. I absolutely love it. I think it's very beautiful. Philadelphia's going to have a special place in my heart come Saturday night for the rest of my life because it's where I'm going to win a world title. And, you know, maybe if we're lucky, we can land that famous left hook that Philly's famous for. So let's go out there and try to do it.
And last one for me, what would it mean for you to break Conor McGregor's record?
I've never thought about breaking his records. It's never been something I've focused on or thought about. However, now that I'm in the position where, with a win on Saturday night, I become the Irishman with the most wins in UFC history, it's a pretty cool thought to sit there and go, when I was 16 years of age watching UFC highlights on my laptop in my room, that I'm that close, that I can do it. Tying it alone was awesome, but now I can beat it, and I've still got 10 years in this sport. That record's set in stone. Ain't no Irishman ever beating this record. I can promise you that. That's going to be up to 20s in a couple of years. Ain't no one beating this. I'm going to make sure that it's so far unachievable, essentially, that that record's set in stone, and that's the legacy that I wish to create. I want other Irish kids who are watching this fight Saturday night to sit there and go, I want to be where Ian Garry is one day, and then I'd love to see someone be on the cusp of trying to beat my record because that would be a phenomenal full circle of events. Thank you guys. All the best this weekend.
Acá, listo.
Esteban, right here. Obviously, when you get a big name like Edson Barboza, I'm sure you kind of ramp up in camp. But we've heard rumors that like maybe this is Edson's last fight, and he's had all these difficult matchups, and they're expecting fireworks from you. So I guess what do you make of Edson at this point in his career, his skill set overall, and possibly maybe being the last fight of his career?
Obviamente un nombre como Edson Barboza trae cosas y uno ya se pone un poco más animado en el campamento contra un nombre como él. Hay rumores de si, o sea, viene de que tal vez sea en verdad su última pelea, o sea, que viene con todo, que podemos ver, como dijo él, fuegos artificiales en la pelea, o sea, viene con Bam Bam. ¿Cómo ves esto, la oportunidad de ser la última pelea de él y con qué viene él y con qué viene vos?
He escuchado que supuestamente, si cómo se siente él, puede ser una de sus últimas peleas. Está preparado, he visto videos, ha entrenado fuerte, pero yo también, una vez que me dijeron que peleaba contra Edson Barboza, me he preparado fuerte. He puesto partners conmigo a trabajar, que son los que más pegan fuerte en el gimnasio. El mismo partner que ayudó a Justin Gaethje para ganarle a Topuria es mi partner hoy en día. Así que yo creo que he recibido bastante golpes fuertes para estar a la altura de los golpes de Edson.
I did hear that supposedly this would be his last fight. I know he's training hard. I've seen the videos. And of course, we had mentioned ramp up camp. Camp was great. We had a really hard camp expecting this. I had really good partners to train with. The guy that was sparring with Justin Gaethje and prepared him to beat Topuria is my guy, someone that I have now. So let's just say I've had my share of taking some strong hits in training, so we're very ready for this.
And there's this whole new generation of lightweights that probably grew up watching Edson Barboza. And to put that into perspective, he was preparing to fight Tony Ferguson when you made your pro debut. So I guess, was this a name that you thought you would have to compete against? And were you a fan of Edson coming up?
Y hay una generación de gente que creció. A ver, Edson Barboza, y por ejemplo, cuando estabas vos por hacer tu debut profesional, él estaba preparándose para pelear contra Tony Ferguson. O sea, ¿es una pelea que te ocurrió en un momento en tu cabeza? Voy a pelear un día contra él. ¿Podría ocurrir?
Sí, sabía que podría ocurrir. En algún momento me iba a encontrar con este tipo de pelea. Ya dentro de la UFC uno espera encontrarse con estas peleas. Y hay un dicho que me gusta bastante, que lo he repetido la vez pasada: entrena tan duro hasta que tus ídolos se conviertan en tus rivales. Y está pasando esto. Él era sigue siendo un peleador que respeto mucho y que admiro bastante por la trayectoria que tiene. Pero es un peleador más que me pusieron enfrente.
Yes, I mean, as a fight that I thought that could happen, it's that our paths would cross, and there was a possibility that this fight could be, that he could be in my way, that I would have the opportunity to fight him. Something that comes from, and I said this before my last fight, and I'll say it again, I really like it, is like, train so hard that your idols become your rivals. And I think I really take that to heart, and I do feel that that's what's happening right now. So a great fight, and I'm having an opportunity to do that.
And obviously for your last fight, Gamrot, very heavy grappler. Edson, the exact opposite. You kind of know what to expect. A lot of leg kicks, a lot of spinning stuff. So I guess how's preparing for a dynamic striker like that? And is it more enjoyable preparing for that rather than, having to have someone on your back all throughout camp?
Y en cambio de la última pelea y que tuviste que prepararse para enfrentar a un Gamrot que es obviamente puro grappling y te va a llevar el suelo todo el tiempo, ahora un striker muy dinámico que tiene golpes distintos, unos codos, unas giratorias y patadas así. O sea, ¿cómo fue la preparación para esto? ¿Y te gusta más, tal vez disfrutas más una preparación contra un puro striker como él?
Si bien honestamente no me he preparado lo suficiente en el piso con Gamrot y se vio en la pelea, para esta pelea sí me he preparado bastante más en el striking. yo lo disfruto más, es mi estilo de pelea. Soy aguerrido, soy un peleador que le gusta el cruce, que le gusta el roce, así que lo he disfrutado bastante y he intentado poner a personas duras frente a mí para ponerme a prueba. Y es lo que me gusta, ¿no? Gente de nivel enfrente de mí.
To be honest, I don't feel I was prepared enough to face Gamrot on the ground, and it showed. And for this fight, I prepare myself to the fullest on the striking side. People know that's the fighter that I am, and I enjoy it. I mean, it's that I'm a feisty fighter, that I'm a rough fighter, somebody just that likes to be in these bang battles and these bangers. So people know, and I really enjoy having this kind of fight and this preparation.
Did I hear you say you trained with Justin? Is that what you said?
No, I trains with a guy that trained with Justin.
Oh, okay. So, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Esteban over here. I saw in an interview you did recently, and tell me if I heard this right, you sometimes gain 16 kilograms, 35 pounds from weigh-in to fight night?
Vi una entrevista recién que mencionaste que ganas, o sea, recuperas de peso unos 16 kilos, o sea, unas 32 libras más o menos desde el pesaje por la mañana de viernes a la noche de la pelea.
Para ser honesto, hoy estoy en 175 y tengo que dar 155 el viernes. 20 pounds in 2 days. Pero esa pelea con Nasrat hice eso, pero porque me hidraté de más, hice las cosas mal y comí mal, entonces hidraté, sí. Subí 16 kilos en un día. Con Brenner 15 y con Gamrot 14 fueron kilos.
To be very sincere, I'm at 175 right now. I need to make it 155, so 20 pounds in 2 days. The fight against Nasrat, that's the one that it was a mistake in the hydration. I had to hydrate more, so I kind of blew up on a 16. And then 14 mencionaste con la de Gamrot 14 y la anterior, ¿cuál fue?
15.
So 14, 15, 16, around that.
So lightweight's actually not that crazy a cut for you. Like, it's not like you're considering welterweight one day or anything.
O sea, estás pensando en peso welter, o sea, es un corte significativo, pero lo haces. ¿Piensas en welter?
No todavía. Conozco mi cuerpo bien. El cuerpo... Hay mucha ciencia detrás de esto y creo que la gente del PI la tiene muy clara con esto y hasta ahora no me cortan, no sufro bastante y todavía doy buena pelea con este corte. Me siento fuerte, no me siento débil, así que por el momento estoy bien dentro de la categoría.
Not yet. I know my body. I know what happens. There's a lot of science that goes behind this, and the people at the PI help me through this as well. So I think for now, don't feel that I'm weaker. Don't feel that I'm missing out on training. So for now, I do believe that this is still my division.
And last one from me. Ian Garry was in here, and he mentioned Philadelphia, Rocky Balboa, the Rocky movies. I'm just wondering, are you familiar with those? Like, how do you feel about Philadelphia and the fighting culture here?
Ian estaba por acá antes y mencionó Rocky, obviamente un personaje de toda la cultura de Filadelfia. ¿Conoces la cultura de Filadelfia? ¿Piensas, o sea, del tema, conoces lo de Rocky y cómo ves la cultura de Filadelfia donde estás?
Obviamente, conozco las películas de Rocky, conozco todo lo que pasó por acá en la película y la historia que tiene el boxeo. Es más, tengo pensado a la tarde ir a correr a la escalera y sacarme la foto, por supuesto, en la escalera.
Of course, I know the movie, I know the story, I know everything that happens in the movie related to the city, and it's more, even in the afternoon, I feel like I'm going to run up those steps and do the thing myself.
Thank you.
Esteban right here. Just one quick clarifier. Who was the mutual training partner that he had with KG?
¿Y quién fue el partner de entrenamiento que entrenó con KG que está entrenando con vos ahora?
Se llama Nikita. It's from Russia.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, lo van a ver. You're gonna see in my corner this time. He's gonna be there.
Great, thanks.
A quick one for me. People are excited about this fight. They're expecting, violence, right? You both have that reputation of bringing the violence to the cage. Do you like that reputation, or do you think it puts you in like dangerous spots, maybe taking some risks that you really shouldn't be taking?
La gente está animada para esta pelea justo porque son dos que vienen con todo, agresivos y todo. O sea, ¿Te gusta eso o te gusta ser así? O sea, o crees que por veces te pone a peligro un poquito más porque es por tema de agresividad.
Nah, me encanta. Me encanta la violencia, me encanta ser así y quiero que me reconozcan por eso.
No, I love it. I love the violence. I love it. I love it to be that way, and I love the fact that I want people to recognize me for that.
All right, last one for me. A win in the UFC is big, but a win over Edson Barboza, having that name on your resume, what would that mean to you?
Y una victoria, obviamente, el UFC ya te hace grande, pero una victoria contra Edson Barboza por el nombre, ¿qué hace por vos?
Tiene buen nombre, obviamente por la trayectoria y la leyenda que es, pero al fin y al cabo es una victoria más y es un paso más al top, así que es una victoria más. Es una victoria más.
He's got a great name, great journey in the UFC, but I think at the end of the day, it becomes one more name on your journey to the top. It's one more step that you have to be up at the top.
Esteban, bienvenido. ¿Qué lección, qué te dejó esa pelea con Gamrot que tú sientes que pueda ser crucial para esta pelea con Edson, sabiendo que podría irse al suelo?
What lesson from the fight against Gamrot do you take in a fight like this, and knowing obviously that could have gone to the ground? So what do you take from the last fight?
Si bien fue una pelea que no pude demostrar mucho, estuve bloqueado, hay cosas en el campamento que no estuvieron bien, he corregido todas esas cosas, hoy me siento más preparado mental y físicamente, así que he corregido todos esos cambios y hoy me siento listo para afrontar esta pelea.
There were things that I don't, because of those, I feel that I was not prepared enough. I feel that there were things in camp that did not go that well that I was able to correct in this camp. Feel way more prepared, feel ready for this, and I'm ready for this fight.
Ahora que mencionas que has hecho correcciones, ¿qué correcciones específicas en el campamento pudiste hacer y qué vas a disfrutar más en esta pelea?
About the corrections, what were some of the corrections that you were able to make, and what are you going to enjoy more about this fight?
Los peleadores necesitamos tener una ayuda psicológica también, así que tengo un psicólogo deportivo que me ayuda a estar más tranquilo. No combato con mi demonio solo, sino tengo a alguien que me ayuda a combatir con ellos. Todos tenemos esa cosa y hay que aceptarlo, y siempre con ayuda es mejor. Y para completarlo, siempre he tenido a mi esposa al lado. La última pelea no lo pude tener, así que hoy en día la tengo conmigo. También me tiene más tranquilo, así que va por ahí.
I think that all of us fighters could use psychological help, and we all the helps mental game a lot, the mental aspect. I think I feel that we have demons to battle, and I'm not battling them alone. So I have that help, and I do believe that has been truly helpful. And also, I've had my wife on my side for a single fight, and I haven't had that, and I have her back in a fight like this. So it helps a lot, and those things all come together.
Gracias. Éxitos, Esteban.
Over here. You spoke about how winning that performance bonus really changed your life. How much does that influence your exciting fighting style moving forward?
Ya has mencionado que los bonos de performance han cambiado la vida. O sea, ¿cómo esto influye el hecho de que has ganado los bonos de performance en tu estilo de pelea?
Ganar los bonos me ha empujado un montón, y haberlo hecho de 3 maneras consecutivas, si bien me ayudó económicamente, también me ha puesto bajo un nombre, como dijo él, de violencia y de alguien que sale a dar guerra. Creo que me motiva bastante ir por otro, pero no quiero pelear la noche, quiero una performance esta vez, así que... Y no me gana uno de 100 todavía, quiero uno de 100.
I think having the bonuses, and not only that, but having the bonus has changed things, and then not only having the bonus, but having the 3 of them consecutively too helped a lot, and helped me financially, helping many other things, and as you yourself mentioned here, that it helps people recognize me as this violent fighter that loves this fighting style. But I've had 3 performance bonuses, and I want a fight of the night bonuses. I want a performance bonus. That's the one that's missing. Also, I haven't gotten the 100K one yet, so it's time to get a 100K too.
Awesome. And do you think there's any danger in giving Edson too much respect this Saturday?
¿Y crees que hay algún peligro en darle demasiado respeto a Edson este sábado?
Sigue siendo un peleador peligroso, todos lo conocemos, he visto cómo entrena y el peligro siempre está en este deporte. En este deporte una mano cambia el juego, sea para el que sea, todos pueden caer, así que el peligro siempre va a estar. Guardia arriba, apretar los dientes y para adelante.
The dangerous part of the sport, he's a dangerous fighter. I know a hand can get through. There's always going to be dangers. It's the nature of the game. But it's always going to be there. So you just, tighten up those fists, bite down on your mouthpiece, and go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mackenzie over here. How's fight week going so far for you as champion?
Fight week has been amazing. It's definitely a little bit different. Doing the face-offs with the belt in my hand, I'm kind of like, how do I shake her hand? But yeah, I mean, it's been, besides like all the interviews, that hasn't changed too much. But just getting used to having the belt over my shoulder most of the time during fight week. But it's been fun.
Yeah, and I saw you had that face-off with her yesterday, and we had the chance to speak with her a little while ago. She was in here, but I guess what was your read? Was there anything that you could take away from that moment, you know, facing off with her for the first time?
No, I mean, that was the first time I've ever met her, so I've never even seen her in person. But yeah, I mean, I think she looked happy, she looked confident, and I think we both looked like we were there to throw down.
Yeah, it's been kind of an interesting little build-up. She was in here, like I said earlier, and she seems to think that you don't like her. And I don't know. Do you not like her? Is that true?
I don't like her or dislike her. I don't know her. So, but I mean, yeah, I think it's really cool how she is tied with the most finishes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm learning about her this week. Not because I have anything against her. I think she definitely maybe had her eyes more on me than I did on her, but just because she was in the 125 division, she wasn't even in our division, and then she came down, and then, I mean, I was just focused on me and Wei Li at the time, and ahead of me, not really who's fighting behind me. So I never really paid attention, but not that I don't like her or do like her or anything like that. I don't know her, but I really respect her journey in the UFC. She was on the Ultimate Fighter, and I was able to take part in the Ultimate Fighter with Team Bisping in DC. So what the girls and the guys go through, I give a lot of respect to it, and you can see how, I don't know if she won, but I think she won, but to get up here and be fighting for the title shot is nice, but I think she's the one who doesn't like me.
She actually did confirm that in her interview earlier. So
yeah.
Now that you've had time, because there was that little period of time, right, where it seemed a little uncertain who your first challenger was going to be. We didn't really know what was going on with Wei Li. Now that she is in front of you, you feel like she's a worthy title challenger level opponent for you. Now that you've studied her.
Well, when they had mentioned maybe the winner of Amanda Lemos and Gillian would be my next title fight. So I think Amanda, because I had a loss to her, and then Gillian, I know she was like on a 4-fight win streak. So, I mean, for the strawweight division, like you guys know how it is. If you have like a good like two back-to-back wins, even 3, you can cut that line pretty easily, you know. And her having four straight wins and now 5 straight wins, you know, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. But definitely I was happy, especially her being a grappler. I think that's a good matchup.
Yeah, I think that's what's exciting a lot of people about this fight, right, is that she's known for her jiu-jitsu, and you obviously are too. I'm sure if I asked you the question of who had the better grappling, you would say you. But if you're at like a 10, what would you give her? Like numbers, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10.
For MMA, I mean, like, what? I think 8, 9,
okay, so
8, close.
Ballpark. But you feel pretty confident if the fight hits the mat, there'll be a pretty clear discrepancy about who's better in that area.
I mean, no, because I mean, it's 5 minutes. You know, each round is only 5 minutes. So, I mean, 5 minutes isn't a lot of time to work, especially when she's good and she knows what she's doing. I don't know what belt she is, but if she's a black belt, well, I mean, there's other girls that are black belts too, like Viet and stuff like that. But so she's someone who's aggressive and goes forward, and she looks for the attack. You know, I think she's gonna try to progress in the fight. She's not gonna just get a takedown and just stay safe. I think she'll try to catch her back, and she's not someone who I want to fall in a bad position with. So, I mean, if she knows how to stay safe and I know how to stay safe and we both know how to attack, and, you know, we only have 2 minutes left because it took 2.5 minutes just to get to the ground, you know, because they're still punching and cage and all this, you know. I mean, it's an MMA fight, you know. I don't think people could see that much, especially when I've seen some of her submissions now with the UFC posting this week. Like armbar, she attacks from the bottom, she attacks from the top. So, I mean, an armbar is an armbar, but, I mean, you still have titles and you still have, you know, the accolades that the person brings to the fight. And she has been submitted. She was armbarred. I think I know some of her fights in jiu-jitsu, she got leg locked, you know, so there are definitely definitely weaknesses or holes there. You know, I haven't been submitted or things like that. I mean, so I don't think in this fight you'll see like, oh wow, I'm doing something totally crazy that she doesn't do. But I do have some tricks up my sleeve.
Thank you and good luck.
Mackenzie, right here. 5 years ago, you did an interview with us, and you said that you felt women had to do more work to gain the respect in MMA compared to the men. Now that you have that belt in front of you, do you feel like you've finally gotten the respect maybe from the fans that watch MMA?
No, they're still the same. I mean, it's still the whole like bathroom breaks, and you know what I mean. It's just, I mean, what they want is like trash talkers, you know. And the women, I think most of the women, it's like we kind of bring the more, I don't know, elegant side or chic or you know what I mean. That part to MMA. Although we can, I think that's cool that we can like turn it on and turn it off, you know, and we can be like I've come from martial arts, so since I'm 3. You know, you win and you can lose in the same tournament, in a jiu-jitsu tournament, like on the same day. So a win and a loss doesn't make you better than someone else or things like that. It's like the consistency over the whole year that makes you like the #1 in the world, not if you just won on one day. So, I mean, the fans, they're crazy. Of course, I think we're starting to bring more and more exciting fights just because of the level. It's getting better and better. But I mean, what they really want is trash talking, like the Ronda Rouseys and the rivalries and things like that. And you see that even with the guys. If the guys are like more humble or more quieter, then you know the fans are kind of talking. But at the same time, there are fans, you know. So if they hate it, if they like it, that's what we need. You know, we fight for the fans. And but yeah, I think if we can keep showing exciting fights, you see like Rose Namajunas, you know, knocking out Wei Li and all these crazy things. That's where we keep getting the respect that we want. So we just got to train hard and try to have good matches.
Did those comments, like you said, like fans saying like, "Oh, bathroom break" when the women's fights, did that ever bother you in your career, or did you just kind of push that off to the side and it's like they don't know what they're talking about?
I don't know. That's like not that they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, it's still like like a taste or it's their opinion. But I mean, it definitely bothers me more when they say like, I don't know, that I'm going to get beat up or things like that, or that they don't see my actual technique. But if they say the fight's not exciting or something like that, I'm not too worried about it.
Hi, over here. To your left, there you go. Hi. Obviously, coming into the UFC was such a storied jiu-jitsu resume, right? Did winning the title finally kind of allow you to separate, you know, Mackenzie Dern, the jiu-jitsu champion, from the MMA fighter? Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely me winning, that was like one of the biggest representations, and I don't know, kind of give back that I could do for my sport, my martial art for jiu-jitsu in my community. But that was just, it's really good to be able to solidify myself as an MMA fighter because, I mean, I feel like I won my title mostly with my striking. Obviously, my jiu-jitsu is what makes people scared, and that gives me such a good hand in the fight. You know, people kind of back off on how they fight me, and they fight differently. But so that obviously is a big reason of what got me here. But, I mean, just feeling comfortable with the striking and being able to adapt with whatever they throw at me. So, I mean, I became a champion in a completely different sport now. So I definitely represent jiu-jitsu, but I think that's separated now, and I'm a champion in MMA. Yeah, and taking on someone that likes to do, like she aims to go to the ground as well. Does that make the fight a little more exciting for you? And do you think maybe, look, you want to go to the ground with me, great, but I'm going to show you there's levels to this too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like levels to this, but I mean, it's just I don't know if she's fought someone who like doesn't want to go to the ground with her, you know. So, I mean, we're going to be definitely engaging. That's why I think this fight is going to be so exciting, because I think there will be scrambles and there will be, grappling exchanges. And I'm super excited about that because this whole camp, I trained so much my jiu-jitsu, and it was just really comforting to be back kind of to, if I was going to go fight at the World Championships, you know, like I used to 15 years ago. So I think it'll be fun, and it'll be a good fight.
All right, last one for me. Now that you're champion, when you became champion, when you won the title, right? Did you look back at your journey and maybe go, I've had to adapt, I've had to grow, I've had to change things here and there? And when you look back, was there a specific fight or maybe even a specific loss that you thought, you know what, that's the one? That's the one that got me to push so hard that I got to this title?
I think my fight against Yan Xiaonan, that was like my main event. Like Mark Zuckerberg was there, and it was just one judge gave it a draw, and then it was like she won with the minority decision. So it was a fight that just I felt that I attacked so much on the ground, and I felt just with the judges and like kind of the boxing commission that they didn't have the. I felt like they gave her more respect for defending all the submissions and all the danger that I put her in than how much danger I was actually putting her in. And then since they saw it that way, they didn't kind of look about how me being a grappler, how I was standing and exchanging her, and I hurt her too on the standing. So I felt like I could have or a draw or won that fight with the jiu-jitsu mindset. And so then when I lost that and I saw I understood the game of MMA, and how, ground and pound could be better and, worth more than me putting her in like these omoplatas and, all these chokes where I'm hearing her choking, and I'm like, if this was in jiu-jitsu, this would be like so dangerous for, I'd get all these advantages and all these things like that. So that really helped me understand the game of MMA. And I think that's what helped change my mindset and help me get to the belt. And like on my title fight, I'm like thinking about damage and damage and damage and not just attacking and wasting energy for knowing that people who are watching, they want to see damage. Thank you.
Mackenzie over here. So obviously you got to participate on Tough a little bit this season, help coach. Is that something you could ever see yourself or want to maybe take a head coaching role on?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was fun. It was really cool to meet the girls and the guys. And I was lucky because it was the strawweight division, so I was able to get the training in. But I mean, I feel not that I feel bad, but it's a lot of pressure on them. They're it's Monday, 4 p.m. and they're killing each other, and then they have to go fight each other next week and cut weight. So what they put themselves through, I'm like, this is crazy, But to be able to be there and kind of try and, I don't know, be an example for them and just help maybe inspire them a little bit was fun. But definitely I would like to get, would be interesting to be part of it and be one of the coaches and see who I would fight at the end or something like that.
And then last one for me, obviously all attention on Gillian, but is there a clear number one contender after her? Do you maybe think Wei Li would be that number one contender if she does come back to strawweight?
I don't know. I have no idea. I thought Wei Li was going to be my first title defense, so I really have no idea who they would offer after. And I don't have my eyes on anyone either, so just Gillian. Thank you.
Mackenzie over here. When you won the belt, your daughter was the happiest person in the world. She looked so happy on screen. What has she told you ahead of your first title defense?
She tells me to train a lot because now she understands that if we win, we get another one of these. It's not like we don't pass it on to someone. So she tells me to train a lot, to get a whole bunch of these. She thinks it's super cool. So she wants to have them all around the house.
Awesome. Best of skill.
Thank you.
Awesome. Over here. There's the old expression that a fighter gets 30% better after they gain that first title. Do you feel that that's happened with you?
100%. I mean, my first training back, my punches, my kicks, my movement was it was just crazy. And I was like, Coach, this is so crazy, And it was just, it's in my opinion, it's the pressure that comes off of you, and then you can really just go into training and evolve and get better, and you don't have pressure on you anymore. You already accomplished that goal that you wanted, and so now you just get so much better.
For sure. We've talked about the excitement around women's MMA, the current state it's in right now. There hasn't been a woman as a main event in almost 18 months. Do you feel any pressure on putting on an exciting performance this Saturday?
I mean, I always feel a little bit pressure to put on exciting performance, just because I'm always putting that on myself. I want to have a great fight, and I like bonuses, and I like having fight of the nights and things like that. So I mean, definitely, like I was saying before, I would like to help if I can help in any way. I mean, I'm not a good trash talker, so I can't go that route. But if I can, get especially now on Paramount Plus, you get, you know, people who don't do martial arts who watching and see the fight and say like, man, what is she doing? The girl looks like a pretzel, you know, or a knot or whatever, or knockout, or especially being the champ and being a mother, and just, you know, try to represent that the best way possible. So yeah, definitely I have that pressure of trying to get exciting matches for helping women's MMA and UFC in general.
Thank you.
Mackenzie over here. Yeah. Ian Garry recently said that the world would be a better place if women were in charge. I just want to know, being a UFC woman champion, just kind of your opinion and if you agree with him.
I mean, that's so hard. I come from like a little bit more traditional like upbringing, you know. Obviously the women in my family are super strong and independent, and they taught me how to be a strong woman. But I don't know, I like the guy protecting and, you know, leading and doing that stuff, and I like to just relax, and if I need to go to war with him, I will. But yeah, I mean, I'm a mommy and stuff like that, so I think it's very good, woman, strong woman, and we don't depend on guys. We can be independent, but I like the man taking the lead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mackenzie over here. First up, what was your reaction when you heard that your fight was going to be the co-main event on this card?
I mean, I imagined that, you know, my title fight was a co-main event, so yeah, I mean, I thought it was gonna be happy. I mean, I liked when I was fight nights, because then the whole poster was like just me and my opponent, but it's cool. I mean, 2 title fights, fighting with legend, the guy in the guys division, like Islam and Ian, all these guys, for me it's awesome.
And also, what was your reaction when you heard that your fight was going to be held here in Philadelphia for the first UFC event in this city in over 7 years?
Man, I was super excited, especially just with the whole Rocky story and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and you know, I was really excited to be here. And I haven't had like the best results on the East Coast, so I'm really trying to just break that, not superstition, but you know, I like to take that stuff out, you know, and so I'm excited to throw it down out here in Philly.
Final one for me is, when you look at your opponent, what do you think is going to be one of your biggest challenges?
I mean, I think the biggest challenge with Gillian would just be, I mean, I think like her not making a mistake. You know, I think she's just gonna like give her heart, you know, like she's trying to accomplish something that she wants so bad. So I think just the biggest challenge will be having to control her focus, you know, and try to cut down her confidence throughout the fight.
Hey, Islam over here. Your first time going into a fight with 2 belts sitting in front of you like this. This is everything you dreamed of, right? So how good does it make you feel?
It's make me smile when I see 2 belts here. Yesterday, we walked to the face-to-face. They just give me 1 belt. I'm a little bit upset now. I'm good.
Speaking of the face-off yesterday, Ian was in here earlier, and he said he felt nervous energy from you in the face-off and that you didn't want to be there. What did you make of that, and what do you make of those comments from him?
Man, I don't know how I just... not like something I want to go there. Like, I've been there before also. And I don't see anything from his eyes. I just see his eyes, and I'm not nervous. This is like my second fight week in my life where I'm enjoying every moment.
Was the last one the first?
Yeah, the last one and this one.
Yeah, and a lot of people are talking about what you two would look like next to each other. Is he much bigger than you? It didn't seem like he was that much taller. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, I tell the Rizwan, UFC have to check my tall again because it was 10 years ago first time. Now I'm a little bit taller.
Also, at the face-off yesterday, apparently Ian's son is a big fan of yours, and he wanted to meet you, and he started crying when he couldn't. What do you think of that, and will you give him the opportunity to meet you this week?
Yeah, sure, we will meet him. I don't see him there, but I make him happy.
Right here. Ian was in here, and he said that his fight against you, he feels, is the highest level of martial artists competing against each other, you versus him, that we've had in a long time. So when you do watch Ian's skill set and tape and everything, is he that skilled and possibly the most skilled opponent you've had?
I don't know. Maybe like in the welterweight, if you watch the last fight, Mandalena, it's like more boxer. But I think Ian have more skills. He's good in the striking. He have good wrestling defense. But he has some weak point. He's not completely like 100% like myself. But he's good. He's gonna be good fight, and I saw he have like good takedown defense, and I have some things I have some key to beat him easy.
Islam, Ian said that his last 4 opponents are much better than your last 4 opponents. I'm curious if you agree with that assessment and what you think of the people that he has faced.
Last 4? Before he said last 5. And I've said like why he don't respect his teammate Charles Oliveira. Now he say why last 4. I don't know. When he have good opponents, he just lose. That's it. When he have Shavkat, if he talk too much, just look at your fight. That guy beat you 4 rounds. That's it.
Earlier today, Ian said that he beat Shavkat for 24 minutes. Was it right? Yeah. Oh, Carlos, excuse me.
He just Carlos.
Yeah, sorry about it.
He can beat Carlos, but he can beat everyone. But I'm not same like that guys. I'm different.
Do you agree with, I saw your manager say this, do you agree that Ian is going to run from you throughout the fight?
Sure, he has same style or every fight. He just run back and he just working for the point. I don't remember when he finished someone last time.
Yeah. Last one for me. What do you make of Ian as a person, right? Sometimes he does interviews and says things and people react badly. I'm curious if you ever watch his interviews and what you think of Ian.
Can you repeat the question?
What do you think of Ian as a person? Sometimes he does interviews.
Person?
Yeah.
I think he's good person, good guy, but he act like he's like bad boy, something like this. But I tell in the interview also, we will make him humble, we will make him good guy.
Islam back here. You, Khabib, now Chanko. There's so many great fighters from Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov's school. Who are the next fighters we'll see in the UFC? Like, what's the future? Do you have some names?
Usman. I think Usman. We have to see him next.
I hope so too. And I saw that you had a fan that had cancer and you offered him tickets for the fight. Did you get to meet him? Is he coming to Philly? That was a very special story.
They come Thursday or Friday. We will meet them. UFC give them tickets. We book them hotel, flights, and I want to see this guy.
Very nice.
Islam, over here. Michael Morales was called to be the official backup for this fight. He's looking for a chance for the title shot. What do you think about him or his chance to be a contender for the title?
Yeah, he's a good contender, one of the contender for sure. And just one thing I don't understand why he don't fight. He have to deserve because Pratt is still active. He's still fighting, but I don't know. I don't want to watch like behind Ian Garry because I have good opponent. After that, no matter who is gonna be next, Prates or Morales.
Okay. One of your training partners is gonna be fighting in this card, Joel Alvarez. What can you say about him, like his skills, and why do you call him to prepare for this fight against Ian?
Because he's a good striker. He's also tall, long reach, and we did good rounds with him. And in good shape, he just take the fight short notice, like 2 weeks, and I think he's gonna show good performance because we spar, and I see he's in good shape.
And you just mentioned that Usman is one of the next fighters for the UFC. How people is talking about a potential matchup against Justin if he gets into the UFC. How do you see this matchup? Because you know Justin.
You know, Usman is training with us when he was like a very young guy, you know, and he training with Khabib, myself, with all our teammates, all life, you know, and I know 100% he ready to fight like for the title tomorrow or for the contender match tomorrow because he's good wrestler, he's good, very good striker, he have good grappling, you know. That's why I think, my opinion, Usman did his job great in PFL and he ready to show good performance in UFC.
Thank you.
Islam over here. So what was your reaction when you heard you're going to be headlining this event here in Philadelphia for their first UFC event in 7 years?
Reaction? I don't know. Reaction? I just, because, you know, last 2 camp I did in New Jersey and I just check how far the New Jersey from Philly, you know. I was like very happy because I like to stay in New Jersey because we have great team there, gym there, you know, and I love to training in New Jersey, and that's it.
And when you're looking at your opponent, what do you think will be your biggest challenge going against him?
No, it's not gonna be my biggest challenge. He just good, you know. I give him respect. He have good skills, but everybody knows my game, and we'll see how he prepare for that.
Islam over here. Obviously, your grappling is probably the best in the UFC right now. If there ever is a point in this fight where you're unable to get the takedown, could you purely outstrike Ian Garry?
Yeah, sure. Like, watch my fights against Volkanovski, against Dustin Poirier. I can strike with anyone, but the Bulls fight where I strike with these guys is more this like hard fight for me, you know. That's why if wrestling not working, grappling not working, I can strike with anyone. But if I want the easy win, I have to take them down and finish them.
Sure. And Ian Garry said that becoming a vegan kind of took his performance to another level. Is that something you'd ever consider?
No, bro. It's not. It's not Dagestan style, bro. Our old traditional food about meat.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Islam over here. Ian talked a lot about his family and the presence of his family. I know you like to keep that private, but I was just wondering if you could tell us how many kids you have and if any of them are training in any sports.
Now I have 3 kids. They're just still small, you know. For future, I don't know. I don't want my kids to be like fighters. Maybe for sure in Dagestan, when you go to the school, you have to go wrestling or somewhere. They're gonna training, but we'll see. If they want, I just not stop them, you know. I just help them, but I don't want my kids to be some professional fighters or like some other sports. Because when I grew up and my mother and father always far from me, because I always traveling, always like in training camp, in fighting. But I want to stay with my kids.
And
Because already, bro, they are like 5, 7, 6 years old. I don't see them a lot.
And speaking of younger, Khabib was on the Lex Freeman podcast, and he told a story about him and his brother fighting in a Sambo fight on the street. I just wanted to know if you remember this and if you have any memories using Sambo outside of the octagon.
Sambo, yeah, sure. Sambo, the Sambo, it's mean like I was in the Sambo Federation a couple of days ago, and I just told there also, Sambo, it's not just to help to become like best fighter in the world, like myself, Fedor Emelianenko, Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's just not just become fighter. Just Sambo is the best sport to defend yourself. When you have some problem in the street, you always have some clothes. It's not wrestling. You can grab, do some things like Sambo style. That's why I think Sambo is the best sport for not just become fighter, just defend yourself.
Thank you.
For example, Jiu-Jitsu, bro, if you want to defend yourself, you have to lay down. But Sambo, you can begin from up.
How important is it for you to continue to be recognized as pound for pound best fighter in the world, not only to just win, but put on dominant performances so you continue to be recognized pound for pound best in the world?
Yeah, it's the first thing which I like to hear when people just put me in the first place, and I understand, like everybody understand I'm the best fighter. When you spend all your life for this sports, and when you become best fighter in the world, it's great, it's make me happy every day.
Салам алейкум, Ислам. Короткий вопрос от меня. В твоем лагере вообще был человек, который по комплекции и по росту мог имитировать Гэри? И если не было, то насколько это проблемой было?
Quick question for me. Just, was there anybody in your camp who was there to emulate your opponent, Ian Garry?
Я приглашал в кемп Джоэля Арвалеса, который будет на этом турнире. Я спарринговал с Усманом, я спарринговал Амру, вот именно Амру Магомедов и Джоэль, они повыше меня, посмотреть разницу с моим соперником в росте, они примерно одинаковые, даже может быть Джоэль даже повыше, чем он.
Yes, I had Joel Alvarez, who's also going to be fighting on this card. I also had Usman Nurmagomedov, sparred with him. Amr Magomedov is also taller than me, and they specifically were there for me to emulate my opponent. If you even look at Joel Alvarez, he's kind of even a little taller than Ian.
Just last one here to go back to Usman. I think a lot of people think he'll have to win one fight in the UFC before getting a title shot. If it was up to you, who would you like to see Usman fight in his UFC debut?
Who is the one of the contender right now in lightweight?
So Arman and Rufi are fighting in LA, and then there's Charles. Ilya has to come back. Patty's there. Benoit. Quillen just won.
Yeah, maybe
Max.
Arman or Max. I don't know. I agree with you. He have to fight one times because this is one of the big division in UFC, and come from outer division and fight for the title. I think it's possible, but I think he have to come, feel this atmosphere, feel this all media, everything, and fight for the title next. Just one fight and other one for the title. Thank you, guys.
Mansur over here. How's your week going so far, man?
Amazing, amazing. Back home. This is pretty close to home. We were in Pittsburgh, and I grew up in Maryland, so yeah, this is right where I need to be.
East Coast show for once.
Yeah.
I guess what's the kind of the mindset coming into this one, right? The last time we saw you is the first loss of your pro career. Did it change anything? Were you able to learn from it? Different perspective coming in here this time?
Maybe early on after the fight happened, it's like, of course, like the mental perspective, like you want to change everything. You want to change your lifestyle. You want to change your habits. But then I look at my lifestyle and look at my habits. I'm like, what is there really to change? I don't party. I don't drink. I don't go out. I don't have many friends. So it's like, what is really to change? And the thing to change was to be myself. I was going out there that last fight trying to be way too perfect, and there's a lot of flaws in trying to be perfect. So my intention is just to go out and be me and to fight like me, to be aggressive, to be playful, have a smile on my face. I feel like I was way too serious, if anything. But all those things are secondary. I lost to a fighter that was better than me, period, point blank. But this time around, I have a new opportunity in front of me, and I'm excited to just perform, man, to just perform and just to be myself and to have fun and to engage.
Yeah, and obviously nobody wants to ever lose, but is there less pressure not having that 0 now at all? Like, do you feel it?
There was never any pressure, and never not any pressure, if that makes sense. I've never thought about fighting like that. That's not my first time really losing. I've lost in wrestling. I've lost in life way heavier ways than a fight could ever hit me. So it never really hit me like that. If it hit me in a certain type of way, it was like, that's not me. I didn't feel like that was the truest expression of myself, and every single time I compete, I want it to be the main thing for me, to just express myself and to be free, and I didn't do that, but I have an opportunity to do that this weekend.
It's kind of an interesting situation because you're coming off the loss, but you also are like probably the highest up that you've been on a card, a numbered event. So do you feel like that this is going to be a moment where you can still kind of break through, you can capitalize on the big stage and get a bigger fan base familiar with you and your abilities?
Absolutely, that's my intention. I don't feel like I've lost. Of course that happened, and I'm not negligent of that. It happened, that's reality, but I'm not that person. I'm not that same person I am when wins come. This is life, man. This is a brand new day, a brand new opportunity. I'm not sure what today's date is exactly, but today is this date. It's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow. I'm happy and I'm grateful to be in this position. On the main card, I'm excited. It fills me with good energy. Seeing my brothers around, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, and it feels like this is the way it should be.
Last one for me. Your opponent, Dustin Stoltzfus, you guys trained together. He was in here a little bit earlier. What do you know about him? What do you remember about those training sessions? And ultimately, what are you expecting when you guys get in there?
We've never actually trained together. We've been in the same vicinity, training at the PI and at Extreme. I just met him actually for the first time yesterday. He's a solid guy, but that's where it ends. His skills are very solid across everything, but I feel I'm way better, man, and I look to prove that. Truly, though, truly, I have a smile on my face right now, man, and I just cannot wait to get inside of that cage and look up at those lights and take a deep breath and smile in that cage. So I know where my strengths lie. I have a very, very, very good idea of where his strengths lie. I want to make mine the highlight over his.
So right here. The last thing I'll say on the last performance, but we hear from a lot of young fighters that when they do experience their first loss, they notice how people treat them outside of their circle. You seem like an individual that has a very tight inner circle. So A, is that true? And B, did you kind of notice how other people treated you after you are no longer an undefeated fighter?
Absolutely. Both of those, absolutely. My circle is very, very, very small. But I've prepared for stuff like this, man. Even before I was in the UFC, I looked at everything. How people will treat you when you win, how people will treat you when you lose, how you'll treat yourself, the perspective that you'll have on yourself regardless of any result. But it's true, man. It's true when people sort of change their characteristics towards you, their interactions towards you. It's real. It's real. But it has never hit me. I'm just observant of it. I don't take anything to heart. I don't take the good stuff to heart, and I don't take the bad stuff to heart. I'm in my own world, man. I don't even pay attention to stuff. Sometimes people might have to ask me a question a second time in order for me to really get engaged into it. But that stuff is real. It's real and it's true, but it never hits my heart.
We've also heard from young fighters that they want to get back quickly because they just want to erase that last performance like as quickly as possible. Did you experience that too, or did you like have to take a step back both to physically recover and just kind of look at what went wrong, I guess?
Physically recover, absolutely, but I healed pretty quick, and I'm always willing and eager to get inside and compete, man. I've never in my life have I said no to an opportunity. I get a text or I get a notification or a call about a fight, yes, before like they could even send it, before the bubbles stop loading on iMessage, man, I'm saying yes. So I'm always eager to get in there and compete, so it's never really like a big change for me. But in terms of healing, getting my mind correct, getting myself back to where I need to be, mentally and spiritually, of course.
Good luck, man.
Thank you, brother.
Over here. You're at Extreme Couture around some of the best fighters in the world. Who in that room right now has the biggest impact on your development lately?
Sean Strickland, Manel. Recently, Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy, he's coming in there, and I've been training with him for a few weeks. Very, very good guy, man. Very, very good guy. So respectful. He reminds me of myself a little bit. So respectful, so polite, but then when he trains intense. He doesn't train to hurt people. He trains intelligent. So those three, and of course, a bunch of different fighters from lighter weights all the way up to heavier weights. I look to pull information and pull inspiration from everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.
Edson, over other side. Welcome back again. I mean, especially to Philadelphia. I guess how's life in Camp Penn these days? Because you know you've arguably have one of the hardest schedules we've ever seen in the UFC. Looking back, so physically, how's Camp Penn? Mentally, how's Camp Penn to prepare to fight here again in Philadelphia?
Thank God, man. I have a really blessing camp. To be honest, I don't remember the last time I feel like that, healthy, very motivated, and the most important, very, very, very happy. You know, I feel great. I can't wait to be Saturday night.
And Esteban Ribovics is a guy that he's known to have some pretty back and forth wars, something that we've seen you in quite a few times. He describes this fight against you as an idol become rival because he made his pro debut the same weekend you were fighting Tony Ferguson in the UFC already. So I guess what do you make of Esteban as an opponent, and I guess when did he actually get on your radar?
He's a great fighter. I watch a couple of his fights with my coach. He's a great striker. He throw a lot of punch. He keep go forward. That's the type of fight that I love. Everybody knows that. And it's going to be a war. Yeah, like always. That was very, very happy because I know it's going to be a great fighter.
And there's a whole generation of both lightweights and featherweights that probably watched you when they were kids and now they're in the UFC. Do they bring anything new that you haven't seen at this point in your career? Like, do you have to prepare for anything, or have you just seen so many different styles that you just focus on yourself?
Like you said, I fought everybody. I fought the best grappler, the best strikers. And I always train, be ready for, doesn't matter what my opponent do, I have to work, you know. I don't think about this much. And yeah, like I said, I don't care. I always prepare myself for war. I always prepare myself for war.
And you fought in Philadelphia before in that main event against Justin. Was it important to fight here again? Because, you know, the last time we saw you, you didn't come out on top.
It's awesome comeback. I was living in Toms River, New Jersey. It's super close to Philly. And I came here a couple of times to train in boxing right here in Philadelphia. And I feel blessed to come back here again, to have opportunity to take this loss off my, my mind. But yeah, I'm very happy to be here in Philly.
And then just last one for me. I saw an interview where you said you're not thinking about retirement. This fight could be your last. It might not be. But when you do decide it's time to retire, is that something you would announce before your fight, or would you save it and keep it to yourself? I only ask that because we've had guys like Dustin and Cub. They said they kind of regretted announcing it ahead of time because in every interview, it's talking about retirement and not about the fight. So would you keep that to yourself rather than tell everybody?
It's crazy because I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. Maybe one thing I know, I have something to do Saturday. That's my focus 100%. I don't think about retire or fight again. And my focus will be 100% on the next fight. It's crazy because my whole career, I take 1 week off and I start thinking about the next fight. On this one, don't care about the next one. Just focus on this 100%. And let's see what happens when I finish.
Edson, in light of that, though, when we spoke before your last fight, you were very honest about, how your family feels about this. And, when they say you're done, you'll probably seriously consider that. What were the talks you had after that last result, which I know is disappointing for you?
I always talk to my family a lot, One thing I put on the table is the time I really miss with my family. Just a quick example. Last Sunday, I was with my family on the pool, outside. It's crazy hot in Florida. And the kids have fun. Me and my wife have fun outside. But I will start feel tired because I start cutting weight already. And I decided to go inside the home. I need to rest, do something to try recover. And my wife and my kids play outside. I was like, oh, man. I'm going to miss this time again because I need to think about recovery, feel good to train on Monday morning. And I don't want to miss this time anymore, That's I put on the table. That's what I start thinking about, okay, maybe it's the time to stop. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, and you've obviously fought all the best lightweights, multiple generations, featherweights too. Last time you were here, you fought Justin Gaethje in the main event. What did you think of his title win? And he's now the guy in this division.
Bro, he's good, man. He definitely one of my favorite guys to watch. To be honest, to be very, very honest, today you see don't have many guys like him, I love to watch his fight. He's a really fighter. He go to fight. He's not going to play the game. He don't do trash talk, all this crazy stuff. He's a fighter. That's what love him.
So, Edson, what does it mean for you to be back on the UFC card here in Philadelphia after last time when it was here, you headlined the event? What does it mean for you to be back on this card?
I love to be here because it's the next fight to do, But I'm very happy to be here because I know I have a couple of friends around here in this area in Philly. I was living in New Jersey, right in South Jersey, and I hope this guy is coming to watch me. And I'm very happy with that.
And secondly, when you look at your opponent, what do you think will present a good challenge for you about your opponent?
He's young, younger than me. He's a great fighter. He's a fighter. I watch his last couple fights. He goes straight. A lot of punch and keep coming. And that's making me very excited. When UFC offered me this guy, I was like, oh, it's going to be a war, like always. That's I was very, very excited.
And last one for me, since you fought Justin Gaethje, who holds the belt right now, would there be a scenario down the road of eventual rematch against Justin?
Like I said, to be honest, I don't think about that right now. I just focus 100% on my next fight.
Edson over here. You fought everybody. You are one of the most violent guys, and you fought such a tough list of opponents. I wanted to ask you, who is the most violent opponent you've ever faced, in your opinion?
Most
violent.
I believe Justin Gaethje. I believe. Definitely, I think, I believe Justin Gaethje. Yep.
Looking forward to Saturday night.
Yep.
Good question. When you finally actually decide to walk away, you were just talking about missing time with your family. Do you believe that's going to be the main factor as to why you would finally retire, or do you think it'll be like a physical thing?
It's crazy because, like I said right here in the beginning, when you start get older, you get smarter. You train smart. I don't need to kill myself anymore. I don't need, because I feel that especially the young guys in the gym sometimes need to prove for himself. I'm a tough, I don't need to do this anymore. And I feel better than ever, healthy. I have like this full camp, no injury. I was 100% healthy. I don't remember, to be honest, fight and feel like that back the day. And yeah, but super hard for me. Super hurt me a lot, time with my family, time with my kids, with my wife. But thank God I'm healthy, Thank God I'm healthy.
Yeah, and that knowledge you were talking about, you said, at you're older, you're smarter, you train smarter. Do you pass that down to the younger guys? Like tell those guys, in the gym, like, hey, you're still young, you can still take this damage, but don't do that. Be smart.
I try, but I believe it's the process. Everybody needs to pass the process. When you're young, you do a lot of crazy stuff. I do a lot of crazy stuff too, but it's part of the process. I am who I am right now because everything that I passed back the day.
Thank you.
Just going off that, Dustin Poirier and Dean Thomas and all those guys on that Deepwater show were talking about this week how fighters have two primes, like a mental prime and a physical prime, and it kind of sounds like you're talking about your mental prime now, right? Knowing how to do everything right and be smart and fight IQ. Do you think that's an accurate philosophy or way to put things?
Yes, because I understand, especially when you get older, that's the most important. Mentally, you have to be, and like I said, that's the most important. I think that's the top of my career mentally. That's why I feel unbelievable for this fight.